hello, and welcome to Get Your Happy On with Olivia Vo, your savvy social humorist. It feels so good to be back home. I have been traveling away and attending the most amazing conference, General Assembly, with my fellow USAWEC cohort, a women entrepreneurship cooperative, and I got to meet so many of my fabulous friends and colleagues in person, one of which is a guest today. So I'm super excited to introduce to all of you Renita Mendonca, and she is now a fellow alum with me of the USAWEC cohort 2022. And today's topic, we are going to be speaking to her as a chef entrepreneur about clean eating. What does it mean and how that may contribute to overall well-being, mood, and happiness? And Renita speaks from experience. I mean, she has over 25 years of culinary experience across 3 continents, working with really renowned Michelin Star chefs. And she is just an incredible entrepreneur, mother of 2. I just got to meet them backstage. Her son Liam and daughter, also named Olivia, and it was really sweet to see both of them. And super excited to bring her on here today. So without further ado, let's start this topic. Let us know what your questions are about superfoods. If you've heard the term before, I'd love to hear your thoughts about it, what it means to you. If you heard of the Mediterranean diet, things like that, put it in the comments, engage with us, because we have got the premier chef entrepreneur, Renita Mendonca, in the house. So please welcome Renita. Hello, my friend.
Hi, thank you, Olivia. And you're pretty good an entrepreneur yourself. So thanks for having us on your podcast. Um, so going back to what superfoods really means. So it is actually all kinds of foods that are nutrient dense, right? So it is kind of like a one word term for all ingredients that have high nutrient density. So that is how the term was coined. What it really does is high nutrient dense foods usually usually give you an energy boost. It definitely elevates your mood, but it's not a once in a way thing that can make you feel better. It is something that you can add to your daily foods. So like, for example, if you're having a soup, why don't you add some lentils to your vegetable soup? And that is a nutrient dense food. So legumes, lentils are a kind of superfood as well. So it's just one of the many examples. If you're eating a salad, and say if you add kale to your masculine mix, kale is very nutrient dense. It is one of the best superfoods you can have. And it's high in iron. So for all those vegetarians out there, kale is a fabulous, affordable superfood. So we have different categories of superfoods. They come under nuts, legumes, lentils, beans. Also, you have salmon, avocado, tuna, your berries, your raspberries, your blueberries, your strawberries. So it really doesn't entail a lot except for developing a habit on a day to day basis by adding 1 or 2 ingredients to your diet that don't hurt your wallet, yet you can start mindful eating by adding a few ingredients to your diet.
Wow, you got right into it.
I go really deep.
And thank you, LaDonna, for watching. So Donna is tuning in. She says, can't wait to hear about this. I'm hoping you're writing down some notes there, LaDonna. And, this is such an important topic because we think about happiness and where does it come from? It can come from mindfulness eating. And I think you've clearly illustrated that for us. That doesn't take much as long as you understand what they are, and they're safe for your wallet. You don't have to go all out.
Yeah,
Getting
you
some
don't,
fancy
yeah,
food.
Yeah, it's not something that is out of the ordinary. You have your
Mm.
very simple ones, but yet very high nutrient dense ones, like the kale, the cranberries, the strawberries, the blueberries, the broccoli, the stuff that we're already eating. But the question mark is, are we adding this to our daily diet, right? It's not a once a week thing and then you expect an energy boost. It's something that you've had on a regular basis. Like you have your oatmeal in the morning, add some blueberries to it, add some goji berries to it. You're making a salad, add some kale to it, some leafy greens, some collard greens. You're making your soup, add some greens again. So you can also have chicken soup with greens in it. So it's those little additions that don't hurt your wallet, are eco-friendly, as well as good for you. And what's good for you is good for everyone. And they're definitely great energy boosters, mood boosters, along with exercise. We all know what diet and exercise can do to us. I'm guilty as charged. I don't exercise as much, and I need to get out there more often.
What are you talking about? I feel like you're on your feet all the time. You're
I
such
am.
you're such a go getter on the go. You're probably standing lots in the kitchen. So
Aren't we all go-getters? So.
I'm curious about your kids, though. I mean, are your kids a fan of superfoods? How have you introduced it to them, like these beans and legumes and such?
So my son is very adventurous. My daughter does great with seafood, which again is a superfood. Your salmon, your herring, your mackerel, your tuna, they're all superfoods as well, right? So my daughter does great with seafood, but not so much on the greens. But then yes, she definitely eats her berries, her cranberries, and you make it fun. You can dip it in dark chocolate. You can make it fun for kids and throw in the sweet in there, and they'll definitely enjoy it.
That's wonderful. That's a great tip right there. Just make it fun for the kids. Have fun with them, experiment and exploring, introducing new foods to them.
Absolutely.
Excellent, excellent. So, how did this passion for food get started? I read a little bit about your bio. You grew up in Bombay, right, which is like the mecca, I feel, of like culinary
All things food, yeah.
experiences. Yeah, very multicultural. And then your mom had an influence on you. So, talk a little bit about that too. Like, how did this passion for food get started?
So everybody loves their mom's cooking. Nothing that can beat homemade cooking. I still like to boast and brag that my mom is an exceptional. She'd even put, my ex bosses to, she'll give them a run for their money. But all that aside, what food really means is how do you really treat your ingredients, and how does that play a role in your day to day life, right? So you have to know how to cook your ingredients. You have to know a little bit about the ingredient that you're working with, right? You can make it fun and enjoyable in your daily life, right? For example, Mediterranean cuisine. Mediterranean cuisine is a lifestyle that you can adopt and adapt to. It's very easy. It's not too spicy. It's not too hot. It has a very stable middle ground. And everybody knows a Mediterranean lifestyle, if you eat it every day, it's never going to hurt you. It's just going to make it better for your health as well as your wallet. It's not an expensive affair to follow a Mediterranean diet. So, for example, what we do at Dates and Olives, which is our Mediterranean restaurant, is we have cranberries in our salads. We have greens in our soup. We have lentil soup. We have a dairy-free, vegan, gluten-free options. And it's funny because a lot of people with allergies and dietary needs and dietary preferences walk in there and they go, even though you have meats, you still have so many options for people with dietary needs. So we don't advertise ourselves as like a superfood restaurant, but we definitely, when people come in and they get used to the food, they go, wow, I just don't seem to put on weight with your food. We have clients who I know in the first 2 years who ate for 2 years regularly at the restaurant. Then, as we went along, we have clients who eat 3 times a week and they go, we never put on weight with this food. So, there is something in it for everyone. The other thing about eating is it's such a community gathering that you can be social about it. You can take some food home and sit and enjoy some videos and eat it, but you still won't feel stuffy and you won't feel like overeaten when you eat food at Dates and Olives. So it's a very community setting for a restaurant, yet with health in mind. And I think that is what clean eating is about, where it's simple food done well for your daily life.
Oh, I love that. Simple food done well for your daily life. Yes. So I have a question for you. Are you one to live to eat or eat to live?
A little bit of both. Guilty as charged, a little bit of both. Because I do definitely enjoy French fries from time to time. I won't lie about it. And I do enjoy that cheating, you know. So
What is one cheap food that you'll admit to beyond the French fries?
beyond the French fries is some good churros. You know, the churros dipped in chocolate. Yep, it's something I cheat on.
Yeah, that makes it on the list. Yes, I agree.
Lots of chocolate. I think it's lots of chocolate. Although they consider dark chocolate a superfood, but I enjoy a lot of chocolate.
And I
So,
love this that you said that eating is a community gathering because in your restaurant, you've got this quote, building friendly communities with food. Kind of explain where that comes from too.
so um, food brings people together at the table. Whether you eat dinner in your house as a family, whether you're eating with friends, whether you're eating at a picnic, whether you're eating in a restaurant, whether it's a social gathering, whenever there's a social gathering, there's somebody who's always bringing food. Potluck is a great example. Hey, I'm going to just bring this. And then somebody walks in with a glass of wine. And, it's like, it just is a way that people get together. It brings people together. So you are building communities with food in your own way. Socially, being social really helps as well. It helps health. It helps your mood. We all know what COVID did to us when we didn't get to see anybody. We were all caged, and so food really brings people together. Food looks beyond race. It looks beyond nationalities. It's a happy medium, and it's the most basic thing as humans we put in our bodies. We eat 4 times a day. Some of us can eat 3 times a day, twice a day, once a day. But food is the most basic thing we put in our bodies. And so if we pay attention to that, I think it's going to go a long way for all of us. Sometimes just having a simple fruit on the go instead of a breakfast bar makes a big difference to clean eating.
Indeed, that's wonderful. And I'm thinking about what you said. When COVID had an impact on businesses, how did that impact your business? In what ways have you found to adapt to that? Because was your restaurant opened, or did it have limited opening hours? And I think part of our program, we were in this amazing cohort together through the United States Center for Global Entrepreneurship. And you had mentioned something about subscription boxes. Kind of tell us a little bit about that, and how is that taken off for you?
So I haven't yet implemented my subscription model yet because we just got through the program, and now I'm going to start implementing things in stages. But going back to just COVID and to answer that question specifically, so COVID was a funny time for different restaurants, right? So the quick serve category of restaurants, which I fall under, I come under a fine casual quick serve category of restaurants. Okay, we're not your fine dining. Um, Yet our food is amazing, and I hope one day everybody gets a chance to try it. However, during COVID, as a business, right from the get go, we were one of the few tech friendly restaurants in the town, right? What that means is when COVID hit and when the mayor said you can't have any dine ins, we shut the front of the restaurant and people would schedule their deliveries online, and we would leave the bags outside at a scheduled time. So the customer would call and say, "Hey, I am Mr. John and I am outside for my 4:30 pickup." So Mr. John would have a bag outside the door with no contact at all, and he would be there and he would get his food right on time, nice and hot. So that happened is because right from the get go, we had invested in technology that people could schedule their own timings, right? And so when COVID happened, I think that is what really saved us. Also, because the nearby community restaurants were impacted so heavily because some of them were getting their seafood from China. And so we had the legal seafoods that shut down in town. We had all these other restaurants that shut down. And so we actually were really busy. So in a way, it worked out for us. Then we had the same crew that came in, made the food in the same hours, and we left together. So we came together, we left together. It was a contactless delivery, it was scheduled online, and that's how we made it work. All masked up.
That's wonderful. I'm so glad to hear that you adopted the tech-friendly system right away.
Yeah.
Making it easy and convenient for people to order, what they liked. I'm sure, there's a comfort level and a familiarity with you sort of being a neighborhood establishment and that
Yes.
people could rely
Yes.
on you.
Yes. And I give kudos to the community in and around Natick and Massachusetts that people stepped up to go to their single standing restaurants, the non chain restaurants, because they really stepped up, and like as customers, they would really consciously go to restaurants like your mom and pops, your local pizzerias, and support them. So that really helped. And, so everybody did their bit in their own way. Um, because everybody did have the COVID fatigue after 6 months. They were tired of cooking every day. There were lots of other reasons, and some days you can be tired cooking your own food 3 times a day. So that really helped us as well. So yeah, the tech definitely played a huge role for us, and I think that brought us out of COVID. On the other hand, talking as a community, the community does help. I mean, I think none of us would have our businesses if it is not for community. You know, now community is not just from a paying customer standpoint. For me, my community starts from inside in the kitchen. And I tell the people who work with me as against for me, I usually tell them, you guys are my colleagues. We're in this together. But bear in mind, even if you aren't the front face of the customer, you are a part of the customer journey. So, at Dates and Olives, the customer journey starts right from the time this menu was planned, the menu was engineered, to the time I buy my ingredients, work with my vendors and my suppliers to the best that I can, because COVID also hit our vendors hard. There were some serious food shortages that affected everybody. So it really is a community from within, and that's what I meant by building friendlier communities with food. We try. We're not always the great, but we try.
Oh, that's so beautifully said, Renita. I thank you for sharing that. That the community starts from within your own kitchen, within your own staff, and that the customer journey is not just like at the transaction.
Yeah.
It's like way beyond that, even as you're
Yeah.
conceiving the menu. So that is wonderful. Because
Yeah.
we think a lot of nowadays, right? Like farm to table concept. So that's really important value for people nowadays, like knowing where their food is coming from, where it's being sourced, who are they supporting in that process. So I think you bring up a great point there about the customer journey.
Yeah. It's super important. Yeah.
And we've got a comment here from Madonna who says that anytime her family gathers, I mean, that's a meal. That's when they
That is
eat.
true,
So,
isn't it? It is so
yeah.
true. It is so true. So do you like cooking, Olivia?
I would say I'm sort of a dabbler in the kitchen. My mom, I also love my mom's homemade cooking. So I can agree with you there. I'm actually going home for Thanksgiving next week, right? So I'll be in your neck of the woods. That's where I grew up in Worcester. I'm
Yeah.
very familiar with Natick, so I'm so thrilled to like be able to have another chance to get to meet you again and to see
Absolutely.
the olives and to sample the menu.
Yeah.
And I saw my mom growing up like just cooking all the time in the kitchen because it was really important for her to have her kids like have a taste bud for the motherland. So like having, taste buds and palates to suit Vietnamese cuisine. She didn't want us like growing up on American food per se. And so that was always, I mean, it requires a lot of prep, a lot of prep, a lot of cooking. And so I saw that and I was like, nah, I don't want to do that.
No, that is true.
So
There's a
I
lot of
grew up,
prep, and it's delicious. Vietnamese food is so delicious. But
it is
which cuisine
delicious.
is not? Every cuisine has its own beauty, and that's what makes it special. And that's why we say food brings communities and builds communities. It starts right from the time food is grown in a farming community, and that translates to the restaurant. What would restaurateurs do without farmers growing crops for us, right?
Right? Exactly.
So
Yeah.
So that's that. Going to your second question regarding the subscription model. So as we went through the USAWEC process of growth stage businesses, and it was a program that brought like-minded women in a cohort learning on growth stage businesses and how to scale our existing businesses, which was much needed because, you go into the daily rigmarole of running your business, and somewhere we get lost in our customer journey. So, this was a really good way of bringing us back and saying, let's go back to the drawing board, let's get started again. Where are we at? So, in that journey in my sales class, I have always been wondering, when you have all these other business models that have a subscription model attached, why is it not applicable to restaurants? So I took it on myself as my sales project to understand the pros and the cons of a subscription model. And it opened a lot of insight for me. And the reason I feel subscription models are a great asset to single standing restaurants, particularly because single standing restaurants, if they're in a tight cash flow, for example, if there is an untoward, unforeseen incident where a pipe burst and you have to use your cash flow for that versus using the cash flow for what it's always being used for, um, a subscription model which is paying ahead of time keeps the single standing restaurant in a much more stable position than it is, because now you have a backup to a backup plan. For example, in simple terms, if a cash flow is plan B, then you need a plan C and D, and that's where your subscription model comes in. It never hurts to be conservative with money in business. It never hurts to have a backup plan in your cash flow. So it's not like you are not going to give something in return for that subscription for people who subscribe to your restaurant. For example, if Olivia chooses to eat at Dates and Olives and she's a regular customer who eats once a week, we give her, and if she says, okay, I'm already spending $100 a month in your restaurant, how about whether I go off vacation or not, buy $100 subscription on a monthly basis. You can break it, there's no contract. But instead of buying it only on the day of you wanting to eat the food, you buy it ahead of time. So we have some money in the bank ahead of time, right? And so that really helps. Olivia is definitely going to get her food with her subscription model. She's probably going to get more discounts. So I really think restaurants should look into a subscription model as well. I think it's something we can learn from gym memberships, we can learn from other business verticals and adapt that into the restaurant industry. And that is something that COVID made me think a lot, right? Because people started fundraising, crowdfunding. So this is not crowdfunding. This is you reaching out to your regular clientele and saying, how about this? You're already giving me $100 a month. You're giving me $1,200 a year. Now, how about you giving me a monthly $100 ahead of time instead on the day off, right? So it's like a prepaid card, right? So
I think about, yeah, I think about like subscription models most prevalent, like the Blue Aprons and HelloFresh. So why not apply that sort of meal prep system to your restaurant?
absolutely,
And plus, you're a local business, and so we can almost be guaranteed that it's going to be locally sourced and fresh and to our liking. Versus,
absolutely,
versus it being shipped, right? From
absolutely,
somewhere
absolutely,
and getting
yeah,
some maybe lost quality. I mean, I'm sure they preserve their quality the best they can, but you still have to factor
yeah,
in like logistics and
absolutely. So we're
trucking
working on
costs.
it. We're working on it, and I think it's definitely a lot of pluses to it. I'm sure not a lot of people would want to block their money and say, why should we give you ahead of time? But I think the ones who are already invested in us, who have our interest in mind because you're already eating with us, those are the customers I am going to tap into and see, do some better testing and see how it goes with that. I still am all up for it.
For sure. I mean, like it could be just sort of a beta loyalty program, right? To your existing customer base, your raving
Yeah.
fans, so to
Yeah.
speak. Because I think it could work, and especially with, I think about Boston, there's like so many, singles. There are so many people who are like, just couples who don't have family, right? They're just two people and who has time to cook, or they don't want to cook, or maybe they want something different. And I love what you said, like there's no contract. So you can just prepay for what you need, what you want,
And
and
then pick
that's
it up when
help
you
you
want.
out with like vendor management, getting the products and supplies, etc.
Absolutely. It really helps the entire customer journey.
I
It's
like
like thinking
it.
a few steps ahead.
Absolutely. I'm excited. I'm excited to see where you'll take this, because I think it's unique. It's not something that people think about all the time. But I mean, you get so many fees with DoorDash and Uber
Absolutely.
Eats. And so why cut, you can cut that out and just go through your own Dates and Olives subscription model.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. And so that is just one of the many projects that USAWEC helped us with. I mean, helped me with. And the great thing about USAWEC, I mean, obviously you know Olivia, but here we're trying to shout it out and reach out to the rest of the universe. USAWEC brought women together in a way that's had a cumulative effect on all of us for our future growth. It's brought us together in a very special bond, both in friendship, as future business leaders, as cumulatively as possible we could be. Like, I'm already, like, I mean, look at you. You already have me, like, in 1 week of finishing USAVEC, saying, Renita, can you just get on board? And I go, heck yeah. So I canceled everything on my calendar on 6 hour notice, Olivia. But see, that's the beauty of USAVEC. It just brought us together. And tomorrow, if another business guru from this team calls us up, I think you and I will do the same. We'll just step in and say, hey, let's do this. So it's just the start of something even more amazing that is to come. It's definitely going to help each of our bottom lines, all those assignments, that number crunching, and all the madness we did for 5 months. Nobody even knows about our assignments, only we do. But boy, they made us work. But it has, I mean, at least in my case, it has definitely changed my life. you know
Oh my
i
gosh.
i always thought, all right, I did the French laundry and that was it. That was my aha and everything moment, until USAVEC happened, and I go, oh god, this is real. And these guys are real. I mean, where would you get to meet Chris Kane, Sam Parmesano, Laura Sicola, Sugatri, Boston Consulting Group as your mentor? You name them all. Doug Haynes. I mean, I'm already missing out on so many names. Melinda Emerson, Beth Chase. I can go on and put a huge directory out there, but where would I get to see and meet and learn? Shelley Lazarus. Oh my God, Shelley Lazarus. I was on a vacation in July. I went to India and I just happened to meet my cousin who is in the ad world. I said, I just had a class on branding with Shelley Lazarus. She stopped. She goes, the Shelley Lazarus? I go, yeah. Of Ogilvy? I said, yeah. She goes, dude, do you know what you did? I said, no, I don't. So that was just one of the many reactions I get. So where I'm going with this is, like, we really got some amazing learning. Whether we use it or not, we don't know. But it definitely has developed me, cultivated me, fine tuned me to do a better job at what I'm already working on. And I think I really needed it. I needed to take a step back, revisit everything I was doing. And it was a lot more, for me personally, it was a lot of inner development, my inner being versus just the number crunching and everything. It really made me pause and think. A lot of reflection in those 6 months.
Oh
So,
my gosh. Yes, I'm totally on board with everything you've said, Renita. It's really for me like all about access, right? We had direct access to all these amazing thought leaders. My favorite was definitely Tiffany Aliche, the budgetnista,
absolutely.
and
Yeah.
Melinda Emerson, small business lady. I mean, they were just
Yeah.
like so on point. And these are business concepts we may have heard here and there, but to really take the time as a cohort to focus on them and to do some relevant real life examples and assignments, I mean, that has helped a lot too. And I love what you said about the cumulative effect for future growth because it doesn't stop here, right? Like our journey doesn't stop here. This is just the beginning. And there's so many women that I've yet to go around and meet as well. And so I feel like there's potential for future relationships to build and blossom as we, go through this entrepreneurship, personal development journey together.
It is a journey. And I think I mean, in my case, I feel I've just started. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm very grateful for my business and all the work. I mean, some days it's really hard, and that's real. But the learning is amazing. In my case, the learning doesn't stop for me. And it was a lot of inner thinking, inner development as well, as to where do I want to take this company? Where do I want to go with this? What value am I bringing in this customer journey? Am I bringing value to my customers, to my employees, because unlike other businesses in the cohort, I do have a brick and mortar, right? I've been doing this for 9 years as a business owner, right? So it's just one of those, a lot of inner development work that definitely has helped. Yeah.
absolutely. So going back to superfoods, I'm curious, what are your Thanksgiving traditions, if you have any? And so what might be an alternative to turkey, right? So what do you suggest?
um you can do uh, a lot of fun things with tofu and mushrooms. For all the vegans out there, you can make really good tofu and mushroom stuffing, right? With tons of cranberries. You can put some cornbread in it. You don't always need the sausage and you don't always need the turkey, although I do need both because I eat everything, Olivia. I just simply appreciate food. So it's for the vegans out there. There are tons of vegetables you can make for your stuffings. Instead of turkey, you can make a lot of tofu based items. You also have the new vegan meats and the impossible meats and the beyond burgers. But I am particularly a fan of just fruits, vegetables, the names that I can pronounce, put those ingredients into my food. And fall going into winter is a beautiful time in New England. As you know, you get these abundance of root vegetables. You get the butternut squash, cranberries, you have your parsnips, your carrots, your turnips, your rutabagas, celeriacs. You can make so many amazing things for Thanksgiving with just good root vegetables. So I really, Thanksgiving is exciting. Again, it's like a community, your family community coming together. And we've developed something called Friendsgiving, right? Just for friends. And so there's just so much that we can do with the Thanksgiving table, that the opportunities are endless with food. And people have food comas. Those food comas are real. They're real. So.
I was just going to say, is it possible to get a food coma off of superfoods?
Hey, you know what? Maybe I should try an experiment on myself. You
Yes.
can add nuts, you can add your berries, you can add your dry fruits to your stuffing, and that's your superfoods in there.
Oh my gosh, this is such a fun conversation. If you're tuning in and watching this, Get You Happy on episode, we are on episode number 29 We only have one more episode left, number 30 next week, and that will wrap up our season. But I'm just so thrilled to have this time to sit down with my colleague from USAWEC, Renita Mendonca here. And we want to know, are you celebrating Friendsgiving? So if you are celebrating Friendsgiving, let us know in the comments. And what is your signature dish that you like to bring? And have you tried to experiment like some vegan dishes as well too? And I was just thinking too about my own holiday traditions. Because in my family, I mean, we normally don't eat turkey just because it's so much. It's a big bird to
It
us, and
is.
so usually just like Thai and seafood and
Wow.
whatnot.
Seafood
And
is amazing.
yeah, so seafood is like our Thanksgiving.
Nice. Even better.
So I think we've done like a mix of like Vietnamese plus American. Like I love like sweet potato pie, right? Like I love that. And I love like cranberry sauce, and then you pair that with like I guess like egg rolls.
Hey, guess what? Something as simple as sweet potato is a superfood.
Mm, that's
Yep.
awesome. I'm wondering if there may be a cookbook in your future, just to have all this wonderful combination of experience and written down.
Olivia, I definitely want to share my recipes and my community experiences with people, but I don't know the business side of cookbooks yet. So there's
Mm-hmm.
something I'm looking forward to learning from you because you came up with your own Cinderella monologues, which I am looking forward to reading it. I really am. Hopefully this Thanksgiving week because everything's closed and I'd find some time to call up and read a book. And so it should be Cinderella monologues. It's on my list. And so, yeah, I definitely do want to share it uh, with people, but I don't know the business side of it, so I'm still figuring that out. But
Yeah, and so you know me, I love books, and definitely when you're ready, like come to
yeah,
me. I will, connect you. It's definitely with so many sources, but this could be also one of those things where you could have a way to like nurture customers, right? And you can have
yeah,
like a simple PDF with maybe three quick, easy recipes. And maybe
absolutely.
just like a morning, lunch, and dinner
Yes.
superfoods. How to
Mm.
or how to incorporate more superfoods. Like I love your example earlier with oatmeal. Okay, if you're having oatmeal, add in some blueberries,
Yeah,
etc. Right? So just
simple
even like
stuff.
simple tips, like maybe 20 tips as a PDF. So it doesn't have to be a
Mm.
book just right away, but you can
Absolutely.
ease yourself into with a PDF with some quick tips, and then maybe just like some super fun kid tested. Oh, you know what you should do? Kid tested recipe book for legumes. That'd be super fun. I think that really fun to write with your
It
kids.
is fun, but it's a lot of work, Olivia. I just feel like I'm adding more to my plate. I just got out of the
Um,
USAWEC program, remember? We
I
had our
remember.
we had our businesses and we were churning those assignments. I could have my program advisor in my head telling me, "You got a deadline. You got a deadline." It's like, is it 11:59 yet? Like, do I need to turn this in now? So,
So
and
I hope
and
you write this down. And I'm glad that we're talking about this live and brainstorming live. This is why I loved it about the show, just because I get to brainstorm live with you all. But you were just like going off on this tangent about root vegetables and how much you love root vegetables. So really cute cookbook title would be Getting to the Root of It.
I love that. Guess what? I got my pen handy dandy. I'm writing it down, getting to the root of it.
Getting to the root of it with root vegetables.
Yep. The credentials go to Olivia. Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, if you watched the show before, I always have a cartoon of the day.
Yep.
And so I was thinking of you for this particular cartoon. I'm going to pull it up and I'd love for you to read it. So hang on one second. I'm going to cue it up right now.
Yep.
Because I I really worked hard to find this cartoon for you too.
I'm sure you did. Because
All right, hang
that's
on
the
one
happy
second.
Olivia.
Well, it is called the hashtag Happy Laugh Hour. So we want to make sure you're getting your laughs in for the day. So here's the cartoon, Renita. Here we go. One, two, three. Go ahead and read it out loud.
Okay. Wheel. Um, Sorry, Olivia, you'll have to read it because I don't have my glasses.
Okay. All right. Can you
Oh,
read
the
the
big
big?
turmeric.
Okay. Big Turmeric Corporation. Yes.
Okay.
Number one, we'll sneak it into everything.
Sounds good.
ice cream, soup, and hamburgers, all
Love,
turmeric flavored.
I really love it.
And then finally, we'll tell people, this is the marketing, we'll tell people it's the elixir of life.
Why not? Why not? It's actually in everything. It is. It's totally there. Yep. You can sneak it in. Turmeric is one thing you can sneak it in. I do love this. I do love the effort you put into this cartoon. So
The only effort was I had to look up my cartoon search engine and type it in.
you have a cartoon search engine?
Not me, but my dear friend, colleague, Robert Bostick, he created a cartoon search engine. And so if you're ever looking for a fun, food type meme or cartoon or something related
Absolutely.
to chefs and cooking, that is a good source. But I love this. I love this because we're talking about turmeric as a superfood, right? It's known as a high nutrient density superfood
Yeah.
category. And the fact that they would have a big corporate spin on it, because this is what they do with other foods, right? And but we're
Yeah.
doing it for the superfood, and so I just love it. What if we had turmeric flavored ice cream? I think I would look forward to that. I actually don't mind turmeric so much.
Yeah, it's a great flavor enhancer. It's not overpowering.
Mm,
It's
yep.
something you can sneak into anything. Like even when you're making just rice, just put in a dash of turmeric. It'll make your rice look yellow, but it's not gonna hurt your flavor profile. It's definitely not gonna hurt your flavor profile. We actually use it in our rice with our kebabs. We actually do use it. So
Oh my gosh, I have to share this like childhood, almost kind of traumatic story, but turmeric is also really good for skincare, right? And so,
absolutely.
like, when I was a teenager, like, my mom actually put turmeric on my acne. So, and I didn't know any better. And I would go to school with like this yellow stain or orange stain on my
Oh my
face.
God.
And I didn't know how to explain it other than like it's, like
It's good.
holistic medicine.
Yes. Holistic it is, but it definitely leaves a stain. You're absolutely right. Oh my gosh. You must have been like traumatized by it going to school and having people looking at you with funny eyes.
Traumatized for sure. But now I can laugh about it because, my mom, I mean, that's what she knew.
Right. Right.
This is
No.
what she knew. And
No.
it worked for her. And so she
True.
does
My
like it works for me.
my mom would put it with yogurt as a face pack. They do. Like
I need to try that.
the whole of India makes face packs with turmeric. For weddings, they apply turmeric to your body. I don't know if you've seen Indian weddings. The day before the wedding, the bride, like women get together and apply turmeric to the body.
I thought
So
they were just henna. I've seen the henna, like the beautiful henna tattoo designs, but I didn't realize it's turmeric too.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So there's turmeric everywhere. They're making turmeric candy now. So you were on point. Your humor was on point. Now, is this Robert's website, Humor on Point, or is this yours?
Humor Point is Robert's website. Yes. So
Okay.
he is in LinkedIn Connections. I'll be happy to make that introduction for you. But
Awesome.
he's got a fantastic resource for video clips, memes, and cartoons. And I literally find a cartoon every day.
Yeah, why not? Why
So,
not?
and speaking turmeric, I also have here turmeric latte.
Oh, there you go. They do add turmeric to milk. They add turmeric to milk.
Yeah, that's what I did. I have a cup of milk that I warmed up, and I'm drinking my
Yep.
turmeric latte.
That's exactly how they do it. That is
Happy
true.
thoughts.
Yep. They use almond milk with turmeric. I mean, turmeric can really go in anywhere. Yeah. It's a happy color. Yellow is a happy color.
It's a happy color. Look at that.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah. Maybe one day we should get together and shoot a live cooking segment.
We are on Monday after
What?
Thanksgiving. You're
I
like,
didn't say
Olivia, no
yes.
more on my plate. No more.
I didn't say yes yet. I said maybe. You just jumped right into it.
No,
Well,
when you asked me earlier if I was a cook at all, and I said not really. I mean, I love to entertain. Like I do love to entertain, and I will like make the extra effort to look up recipes and prepare a meal right for my family and friends. However, just the thought of like daily cooking like doesn't appeal to me. So that's why I need a subscription mod because I'm like, oh, like my meal prep will be prepared and delivered to my door. Perfect. right? So that's what I
Yeah.
would say, because I did see some options on there where you had like for family of two or family of four or family of five, and you know, price it accordingly. And I think that's a brilliant model.
Yeah, we actually do have a meal for two, meal for five, and a meal for 10 at Dates and Olives. We actually do. And it is a great business model. It's a great value for the customer. So, what happens in that is the customers, they buy a meal for two and they share it. They have meals for days. So, the beauty of it is everything's kept separately. So, if you don't like, say, didn't like falafels and you only wanted to eat the Moroccan chicken, you could just eat the Moroccan chicken. It's not mixed in with anything. It's kept separate. It's stored separate. It's delivered separate. So, and then you get assortment of mezzes like your tabbouleh, and you know another thing, our tabbouleh is made with quinoa or millet. Again, both superfoods. Because you have so many people who want to start a gluten-free diet, they don't have to look any further. They just show up at Dates and Olives Mediterranean in Natick Center, and they get that. So it's yeah, we've got these great value meals for which every family can share and have a great community dinner at the table.
Exactly. So, you know, going back to it too, like, you know, my mom has all these like beautiful recipes she's developed over the years. So it's been kind of like on my goal list to like maybe capture that at some point in time, because I would really miss out on that and, you know, passing that on to my own kids if I didn't have like some of her signature recipes. So going back to it, like, I definitely do see myself in the future, like having a test kitchen where I'm like recording my mom at least, because it's so hard to get recipes from her. Because I'm like, Mom, I need some exact measurements. She goes, no, just a pinch of that or a dash of this. And
Yeah.
I'm not able to
Well,
write that all down.
recipe writing and recipe making is a whole different, like a whole different skill set altogether.
Yes.
It's some serious work. And that's why you have food stylists and recipe writers, which get paid a ton to
Are
do it.
you have you also like replicated any of your mother's recipes that you remember growing up?
I have for my personal life, but not at the restaurant because
No, the restaurant.
commercial cooking is a little different. You know, in commercial cooking, you're thinking of a huge data set of people, and it's a business. So the guidelines, the sanitary requirements, the menu engineering, the food cost, like all these are touch points and all these are different variables that go into making a successful menu, which we can touch base on some other time and some other show. I don't want to get into deep details because I think, that's too much of details right now. It's not humor on point. So, yeah.
Excellent. No, it's definitely a fascinating conversation for sure, and I'm looking forward to just seeing you again when I'm in Boston and continuing. And I love what you said earlier about just tying this into like, you know, humor and happiness, right? Like when you're mindfully eating, when you're thinking about what goes into food, how it can help boost your energy. And also eating is sociable, and we're sociable creatures. And so that can help with happiness as well too. You know, be around, you know, certain people sharing in food.
Absolutely. What are the food communities in Worcester or in Florida where you are at? Like, what are the go-to food communities that you know of? It can be on social, or it can be, it can be digital, or it can be live. Like, do you know of any
Hmm.
that you love?
There's this fantastic place in Jacksonville. It's called Congaree Farms, and so you're actually like farm to table concept right there. And they
Wow.
give you tours, and there's always a wait list to get in. But that's a really nice place too. I'll have to say, when you come visit me in Jacksonville, that's where we'll go.
I
And
will. I will.
we love the farmers markets here. So farmers markets here are year round, unlike in Boston where it's only like seasonal. Here in Florida, we have them year round, which is a lot of fun.
I think that's the perk of being in Florida.
Yes,
Yeah,
that is the perk.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think right now in New England, they're having a lot of indoor farmers markets.
Oh,
And
good.
so we've got a lot of new creators who are coming up with these amazing food ideas and sustainable food ideas and daily cooking food ideas and, bringing the community together in more ways than imagined. So I think the digital world has helped with that as well. People are cooking a lot more. And yeah, I think if we just mindfully pick and choose our ingredients that we put in our food, by just giving a few extra minutes of thought, it's going to go a long way. These habits definitely go a long way. So clean eating definitely is very helpful, and it is a great mood booster. It definitely is. It revitalizes you. It also creates a happy medium. There are some foods which keep you happy, you know.
Exactly.
And
Yep.
so
Dopamine hits. And
yeah.
lastly, I think I would say, clean eating is a form of self-respect, right? You're self-respecting your body and what you're putting into it, and building up your immune and defense.
Yep, absolutely. It's a very good starting point. Clean eating is a good starting point for the rest to come.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, if you are ever in Natick, please be sure to visit Renita's Mediterranean Grill. It's called Dates and Olives. I will be there on location, so that might be a fun live segment that we'll do when we meet up again. But yeah, definitely look into our company. If you have any ideas or want to invest in subscription models for single standing restaurants, talk to Renita. She's looking for investors. So putting that out there. And then also, please do connect with Renita on LinkedIn. She is just the most amazing, supportive person you could ever ask for on social. She will comment and like all your posts. You've definitely done that for me. So I really, really, truly appreciate it. And I want to have you on here as well.
Well, thank you, Olivia. It's been a pleasure working with you, getting to know you, and it's just the start of a new journey with you. So, thank you for having me, and it's been just as good. Happy social.
Happy social. So now we can say we're both online friends and real life friends. So that is amazing.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to seeing
Yeah,
you.
see you in Natick.
All right. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you too. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you so much for watching Get Your Happy On. Have you enjoyed today's episode? I invite you to comment. So please share with us your thoughts and ideas in the comments. We'll be checking and would love to reply back to you. Please also connect. Connect with each of our amazing special guests and connect with each other here in the comments as well. This is a great way to network and to make new friends. And finally, collaborate. I would love to find ways to collaborate with you or help you to find collaborations with vast people in my network. So remember, comment, connect, and collaborate. Thank you again. See you next week.